Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome. A few housekeeping things. If you could mute yourself until you have a question or a comment and keep your video on, that would be great. And Donna, if you could call the roll.
Okay. Holly Johnson.
I believe Holly is not present at the
Okay.
moment.
Ian Winbrow.
Here.
Okay. No, I saw him. Angela Van Kraus.
Present.
Siobhan Cancel.
Also not present.
Okay. Mike Eister, we knew he was not coming. Holly Bauer Shaper. Austin is not present. Kevin Matthews. You're muted, but I see you, Kevin. There he is. Steve Mattel.
Here. Sorry, I know you see me, but
I
it takes me a
see
second
you.
to find the mute button.
Sue Fahey.
Here.
Rosie Pryor.
Here.
Hillary Kittleson.
Here.
Lisa Fragola.
Here.
Celine Swinson Harris.
Present.
That's it. Okay, Susan Fahey has volunteered to read the land recognition statement. So you go, Susan.
Thank you. Good evening, all. We begin our meeting with the acknowledgement that the land we are on is the traditional homeland of the Kalapuya people. The Kalapuya were stewards of this very land for over 14,000 years before their traditional way of life was forever disrupted and destroyed. We start our meeting with humility and reverence for the original inhabitants, the Kalapuya. The Kalapuya peoples were forcibly removed to what we now call the Grand Ronde and Siletz reservations. As I reflect on what the Kalapuya must have endured during this, I am humbled that the Kalapuya peoples continue to live on, thrive in, and contribute to what is now the state of Oregon.
Thank you, Susan. Without objection, I would like to adopt the agenda with flexibility. Are there any objections to that? And without objection, I'd like to adopt the minutes. Any objection or amendments to the minutes? Corrections? Okay. The next item here, let me get to through the detailed agenda, is a public comment time, and I'm going to read a statement, and then I believe we have a couple of people that would like to speak. So the statement is, Board Policy 320 states that the Budget Committee may not respond directly to any issues raised, but will take comments into consideration. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes and may not yield their time to other speakers. Maximum time allotted for public comment is 20 minutes. So I'm not sure, Donna, or do you manage the public comment?
Sorry. I think Randy has the names. I did not get the names. Randy, do you have that?
Yes, I do. Okay, first is Adrienne Mitchell, who I'm about to promote to panelist so she can turn on her camera if she desires. Adrienne Mitchell.
Good evening, members of the Board and Budget Committee. My name is Adrienne Mitchell, and I serve as President of the Faculty Union. Thank you for your volunteer service. I hope to make salient the sacrifices and contributions of faculty inherent in the budget. These include a $1 million surplus last year after faculty voluntarily gave up more than 4% of salary to help balance the budget when the pandemic hit, contributing to the ending fund balance, which is now fully restored. Next year, the college will save another $1 million because faculty have agreed to reduce 8 full-time positions. These sacrifices are in addition to several furlough days from the last recession, more than 10 years ago, that still have not been restored. Permanent class size increases to help bridge a $13 million budget gap in 2014, and insurance savings amounting to more than $10 million saved over an 11-year period. Because of these and other sacrifices, faculty salaries have fallen 17% below inflation since 2005, and are now 7% below our comparator institutions, such as Clackamas, Lynn Benton, and Chemeketa community colleges. In addition, part-time faculty have term-by-term employment and are susceptible to class cancellations. More than 20% of part-time faculty have lost their jobs over the past 2 years and no longer work at LCC. We've also had layoffs of 1 full-time faculty member both this year and last. Now, many faculty at LCC struggle. We conducted an all-faculty survey in November with 249 participants. The results are stark and unprecedented. Faculty are working longer and harder. 85% of full-time faculty work 50 hours per week or more, and 41% work 60 hours or more. At the same time, faculty are struggling to meet their own basic needs. 36% of part-time faculty and 8.3% of full-time faculty report relying on government assistance while working as faculty at LCC. That's 36% of part-time faculty and 8.3% of full-time faculty relying on government assistance. During the last year, more than 10% of part-time faculty and 2.8% of contracted faculty experienced food insecurity, and 1 faculty member experienced houselessness. This affects morale, quality of instruction, and the college's reputation. It also has broader implications for the community at large, straining already overburdened social services in Lane County because a rapidly growing percentage of faculty at Lane Community College cannot make ends meet without government assistance. These conditions are untenable for faculty and untenable for the people of Lane County. Thank you again for your service and for hearing the silent struggles written between the lines of the LCC budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Lauren Powell. Oh, she declined to be promoted to panelist. I'll give you one more chance. Lauren, if you would like to speak, I'll promote you to panelist. Oh, she declined. We're done.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next item is responses to information requests. And George and Tatiana are going to go over those with us. Are we working on getting screen sharing, or I'm not quite sure what's happening here?
I just sent him a text. I just don't know if they're speaking or not. George, can you hear us? Oh, we cannot hear you. Let's give them a minute.
Sure.
Not yet, George. We can't hear you yet.
How's that? How about now?
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about the delay. Like I was mentioning earlier, we did submit the questions. So we was hoping that if you have any questions, we are available to answer the questions. Any additional question, any clarification that you might need.
So are there any questions or a need for clarification? And if so, let me try to get my participants so I can see whether there's any hands raised. Okay. Any questions, comments? So the only comment I had is that the budget amendment that is shown on a schedule that I don't think I printed off, but that you had that shows the amendment to the bond fund. Can you show that schedule on a screen share so people can see what that amendment is?
Ask Randy to share that screen.
Okay, Randy, can you share that screen for us?
I don't have that. No, I've got it set up so whoever has it can share.
Okay, how do you?
Oh,
Okay. So,
Okay, so okay, hold up a second. Share.
well, so I need to get the board docs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, on this.
I'm happy to share it. What?
Thanks. Well, so it's item 4. It's item 4A. It's the attachment.
Is this what you're looking for?
Yes. Yes. And if you could enlarge that a little bit so people can see.
Did that enlarge on your end?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So the reason I ask for that is that when we get to adopting motion, it will reference this schedule, which has the change in the bond fund, the increase in the bond fund to meet the debt obligation. I just want to make sure everybody is clear about that amendment so they know what they're voting on. And then we will reference this schedule in the motion. And are there any questions about that before we end the screen sharing? Okay. So our next task, I'm not sure how to get so that we can all see everyone. Can we move the view so we can see everybody rather than the staff view here?
Who pinned the conference room? Can you please unpin the conference room so that we can all see each other?
So, okay, so that's it.
No, I think it's the media service.
You just might need to click on gallery to get back to everybody now that they removed the pin.
Yeah.
That works. If each of us individually clicks on gallery, it works.
That works. Okay, so I think we are at the action time here. And I'm trying to get to my. Okay.
Hillary, I'm sorry. I just have a quick ask on the previous agenda item for responses to information requests.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question was regarding point 18 or response to question 18, the financial forecast for the college for the next few years. It talks about the long-range financial plan, which was developed for fiscal years 17 through 22. I was wondering if, as the new long-range financial plan is being developed, if that can be shared with the budget committee after it's been developed, but not as late as we normally receive our packets. I think it would just be helpful for me to have a deeper understanding of the long-range financial plan, particularly if it could be done in a similar context to what Piper Sanders is doing for the feasibility analysis for the PERS bonds. It talks about the 3 scenarios in January 22 that are going to be available for the board session on June 15th. To me, these types of financial forecasts, having like a good, bad, and ugly forecast is just kind of helpful for me to be able to have a deeper sense of the different types of scenarios that might exist. So I guess my kind of comment is twofold. One, if we could have, if the budget committee specifically could have access or just be notified when that long-range financial plan is developed, we could listen in to the board meetings when it's being presented. And if there's a way that these financial models could be developed in a similar way to what's being developed for the PERS bond feasibility analysis with those multiple scenarios.
So
Thank you. Any other comments related to Ian's, any response from staff or comments? I have a
that's not a problem going forward. I will make a note, share that information with the team. So once we get ready to do the forecasting, I will send that information to the president, and the president can forward it up to the board and the budget committee.
Thank you. Any other comments on this topic?
I have one.
Go ahead.
Looking at the same document, the question number 28, I think it was submitted by Sue Fahey, and it's a good question. She asks, with healthcare costs at $19,000 per FTE, are there any plan changes being considered? The answer says no. I appreciate that. But I think there's more that's being asked than just what's happening right here and now. It's, I think the question deserves a little bit more of an answer. It's pointing out a very significant cost, and what are we thinking about, not necessarily right here and now, but for the current year, but what might be out there going forward to manage this particular budget pressure.
Maybe can Shane address that?
Okay, yes.
Sure. Thanks for the question, Steve. So obviously it's something that we keep an eye on. Statutorily, OEB plans are constrained to a 3% increase. And so that obviously doesn't let us climb down from where we're at now. All of these things are subject to bargaining. And so it's not as if that the college could sort of unilaterally say, we need to control costs here, and so we're going to reduce plan offerings to create some savings. And so it's subject to those same pressures that we're feeling around compensation and everything. So subject to bargaining, it's not, like I said, it's not part of the current bargaining plan. I know there are probably some reforms coming through, probably a merger between PEB and OEB that would happen, and that might help to constrain some costs as well and give us something new to look at, but that's sort of where we're at right now.
Thank you, Shane. Any other comments? My only comment is the experience that I've had in other organizations, the public organizations in Oregon. The lay members were called together and heard the forecast in December of the year, and then made, that was the time when the board was providing balancing parameters, and the lay members were able then to put their input at a little earlier stage, because by the time you get to April, it's you can review and ask good questions, but you really don't have the ability to affect change in that way. Any other questions or comments? Okay, then I think we will move to adopting 2 motions. I am wondering if Donna can read the motion that with those change language around the amendment, and then someone can move to approve. So Donna, can you read that motion?
Sure. The motion would be that the Lane Community College District Budget Committee approve the 2022-2023 fiscal year amended proposed budget as referenced in the schedule of changes to the proposed budget and discussed by the Budget Committee for all funds totaling $328,032,098.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Rosie seconded. Moved by Kevin, seconded by Rosie. Susan, Faye, any discussion here? Susan?
Yes, first I'd like to thank staff for the answers to the questions and getting them done as fast as they did. I also want to appreciate the fact that they plan on updating the long-term financial plan moving forward. That said, without a long-term financial plan that this budget was built upon, I'm going to have to vote no. And I just wanted to explain why I'm going to vote no on this budget. It doesn't affect the budget, but I don't think it's good practice to approve a budget without a long-term financial plan.
Thank you, Susan. Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none. Donna, do we use a roll call for this or?
Yes, yeah, I can read the roll call for the votes.
Thank you. So unmute yourself, folks, so we can do this.
Thanks. Ian Winbrock,
Aye.
Angela Van Kraus,
Aye.
Holly Bauer Shaper,
Aye.
Kevin Matthews,
Aye.
Steve Mattel,
Aye.
Sue Fahey,
No.
Rosie Pryor,
Aye.
Hillary Kittleson,
Aye.
Lisa Fragola,
Aye.
Celine Swenson Harris.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's Siobhan is here. Is that?
Oh, did she come in? I didn't see.
Yes, I see
Siobhan?
her.
Okay, Siobhan Cancel. Is she?
Can you unmute yourself, Siobhan? We're voting. I don't know if you're ready to vote on the budget. It looks frozen. While we're waiting here, Steve.
Well, I have a comment after the vote's complete.
Okay, great. I think we're going to have to move on. I think Siobhan just came. Is that the end of the list, Donna?
Right, yes, that's the end. Yeah, we were going to include Siobhan, but looks like she's frozen.
All right. So the motion to approve the 2023 budget is approved. And Steve, comment. Susan, do you have a comment too, or are you gonna put your hand down? Okay, Steve.
Well, I just wanted to respond to Susan's comment. I voted, yeah, I have deep respect for Susan. I invited her to, to represent my ward on sorry, that's eWeb tech terminology, my, my district on the LCC budget committee and because she has deep experience, and that's exactly the kind of commentary that I was hoping that she would provide. So I'm very appreciative of that. I voted yes, and most everybody else did as well until the budget passes. But I do hope and actually expect our staff to take note of the comments that she's providing. We lack a long-term plan, and if Susan thinks that that's a good move, I'm going to be supporting that going forward.
Thanks, Steve. Any other comments before we move to the next motion? And seeing none, Donna, can you read the next motion, please?
Yeah, sure. Let me get to that. That motion is that the Lane Community College District Budget Committee approve property taxes for the 2022-2023 fiscal year at the rate of 61, it would be 61.91 cents per thousand of assessed value for the permanent rate tax levy and in the amount of 13,269,000 for the general obligation bond levies.
May I have a motion to approve
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion of the motion? Hey, Donna, can you call the roll?
Okay, Ian Winbrock,
Aye.
Angela Van Kraus,
Aye.
is Siobhan Cancel on the meeting now? No, okay. Holly Bauer Shaper,
Aye.
Kevin Matthews,
Aye.
Steve Mattel,
Aye.
Sue Fahey,
Aye.
Rosie Pryor.
Aye.
Hillary Kittleson,
Aye.
Lisa Fragola,
Aye.
Celine Swenson Harris.
Yes.
So the motion is approved. And Rosie, I think I see a hand. Did you have your hand up? It's a white hand, not a yellow hand, but there's a white hand on your screen. I don't know what that is. Any other business for the good of the order here? Any comments? Any other items we need to deal with before we close? Well, thank you everyone for being here virtually and in person, and thanks to staff for all the support for this process. With that, the meeting is adjourned.
Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Board members, I just need for you to remember that we have an executive session scheduled. And Donna, I believe we noticed it for 6:30, correct?
Right, yes, we did. I just sent the link too.
Okay, so is Michael Blade here? Mike, can we meet earlier than 6:30 or must we meet at 6:30?
Do we have any media that have said they want to attend?
No,
Okay, so yeah, we can meet earlier because as long as everybody's here that needs to be here for the meeting, right? So are there like Holly and Austin, and Mike, are they gonna?
No.
Okay.
Holly, Austin, and Mike will not be attending.
Okay.
Mike and Austin did check in with us. I'm not sure what happened with Holly, but I'm checking in with her right now.
Okay.
So what is everyone's preference? Meet now? Great. Okay, so we'll see you all soon in the executive session. Thank you.